Joining me now, first-class father, Carson Palmer. Welcome to First-Class Fatherhood.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, let's start here. How many kids do you have, and how old are they?
I've got four. I've got twins that are 10. I've got a 8-year-old little girl and a 3-year-old little boy.
Wow, okay, that's awesome. What type of sports or activities are they into?
Just about every activity. I mean, right now we're getting ready for ski season. My daughter is on the ski racing team, as well as my son. The two twins are going to do ski racing. I've got a daughter that I just got back from a big ice skating competition in McCall, Idaho, that she did really well at. And then I got a little 3-year-old. My little boy is I think he might be the athlete of the family, because he's into just about every single sport that you could possibly put in front of him right now.
Okay, very cool. All right, Carson, if you could, just take a minute here, please, to hit my listeners with a little bit about your background and what you do.
Well, I retired from the NFL 2 seasons ago, so this is my second year in retirement from playing football. But I played in the NFL for 15 years. I played for the Cincinnati Bengals for 9 years. I played for the Oakland Raiders for a year and a half, and then finished my career with 5 years playing for the Arizona Cardinals in the desert.
Yeah, obviously you've had a tremendous career, Heisman Trophy winner and all that in college. How did the experience of how old were you when you first became a father, Carson, and how did becoming a dad kind of change your perspective on life?
Yeah, so my wife and I got married. We've been married now for 17, going on 17 years. And we always knew we wanted to be parents, and had kind of planned on being parents, and obviously we were blessed with 4 beautiful children. But we wanted to spend the first phase of our marriage without kids. And so we kind of had a 5-year plan after we got married, and wanted to spend the first 5 years really focused on each other and our relationship with each other without the distraction that kids can be, a great distraction. But our first 5 years we traveled, we worked on our marriage, and kind of, I guess it was research, trying to figure out what kind of parents we wanted to be, and just being around kids and being around other parents, and picked up a lot from my older brother, my older sister, who have older children than we do, and just friends and friends of friends that we ended up hanging out with and being around, and really kind of picked up and learned a lot in those first 5 years. And I think it was one of the best things we could have done for our own relationship and our marriage, but more just to kind of see what kind of parents we wanted to be and what kind of kids we wanted to raise.
Yeah, that's very cool, Carson. And what were some of the challenges eventually of becoming a dad while playing in the NFL?
Well, from the jump, having twins proposes a really, really big challenge. But the great thing about having twins first is you have one kid after that, and it just seems like a breeze. It just seems easy. But I think the first challenge was being there for your wife. Especially in the first 2 years of having twins, and just everything that comes with it, and the challenges that come with having 2 babies at once. But also focusing on football and focusing on all the things I had to do, obviously during the season, but more importantly during the off season when you're training or rehabbing from injuries, or all the different things that come up. Really just trying to be there for my wife and be supportive, and as every parent of a young child knows, those first couple of years are just crazy, and it's really trying and testing on a relationship. A lot of sleepless nights, just the frustration that having babies can bring, and being supportive and being there for my wife, and obviously being there for the kids too. So I think those first couple of years, being thrown in the fire like that with twins, and the blur that those first couple of years of having twins can be, it was a huge challenge, and something that's really shaped myself and my wife, and it really gave me a great appreciation for her, and seeing her deal with, the feedings, at 2 a.m. and then again at 6 a.m. and all those things that come with that. I thought I loved my wife as much as I possibly could, but after seeing her go through that and going through that with her, our love for each other just grew from that.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, and I have four children myself, like you. We went from our most challenging was going from 2 to 3, just because our older ones weren't capable yet of taking care of themselves in certain capacities. So it really made that first year of having 3 very challenging for us. But I mean, you went from a 2 in 1 shot to adding the third, so it's a different dynamic. And what was the transition like for you, Carson, then from finally, playing in Cincinnati for such a long time and then moving with the family to Oakland and then eventually Arizona? How was that on the family?
It was great. It's obviously difficult at the time when you get traded. It happens really fast, and you got to, pack up and move out and find school for kids and get accustomed to, new city and all that comes with that. But it was really cool. It was cool to see different parts of the country and as an NFL player to be in, a part of different fan bases and play for different organizations. And my oldest, my twins are now in 5th grade, and they've been to 6 schools, in such a short time from pre-K and kindergarten, and from Oakland and Ohio and Northern California, Southern California, and just we've bounced around so much. It was hard and it was a challenge, and there were all those times where your kids are crying, we don't want to move again, we don't want to leave our friends, we don't want to do this. But I really think it was a great thing for them to experience having to say goodbye to friends, meet new friends, new teachers. It was really a blessing. When I look back and think about, the challenges of being a young kid, and I did it myself as a youngster, is having to move a lot at a young age, and new schools, new friends, new teachers, all those things. So I really think it was a blessing because it forced them to come out of their comfort zone, and it forced them to kind of come out of their shell and have to make new friends and go through times without, kids to eat with at lunch or play with at recess, and putting themselves out there. And I really think it was a great thing for them because it's made my kids, for the most part, really outgoing children. And I don't know that they would have been as outgoing as they are had we stayed in the same school for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, that's an awesome philosophy on that, Carson. And how about as far as I know, I see on Instagram there, you post a lot of the stuff with the kids, outdoors, fishing. I mean, I'm more of a city guy myself, and I'm definitely trying to get into more active with my kids in them outdoor activities. Were you always into the outdoors, like the fishing and stuff like that, or did that come later in your life and after your career?
I didn't grow up doing a ton of hunting and fishing. It wasn't until I moved to Ohio and was really immersed in one of the best places to hunt and fish on the planet, in my opinion. And I fell in love with it and absolutely love being on the river or in the woods or in a tree stand. And I love it even more. My son has been on, 8, 10 hunting trips with me. My daughter's been on 4 or 5. All of my kids fish, even my 3-year-old. We all fly fish together, and that's, you want to talk about helping yourself and trying to work on your patience. Taking a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old fly fishing will test your patience. So that's been awesome. But it's just I think there's something special about going into the woods with my son at 6 a.m. and going through the process and working on your patience and sitting still and all the things that come up, and then harvesting a deer and taking that deer back to camp and eating it that night and packaging it up and making sausage and making hamburger patties and going out and hunting and eating what you kill has been a really cool lesson. And now my 3-year-old that's he's been on some trips and stayed back at the hunting camp while we were in the woods. But, I just think it's a really cool thing to share with your kids. And it's been awesome. I mean, my son, that's all he talks about. He just wants to be in the backyard shooting his bow when he's not doing sports, and talks about hunting. We talk about our upcoming trips and all the things we're going to do and the things we might see. And just being outside in nature with your kids is something that has been really, really special for me to share with them.
Yeah, and I think the most appealing thing about that, Carson, is the fact that there's no technology involved in it, and that's become such a battle with so many parents, myself included, with competing with the technology. Is that something that's an issue in your house? How do you kind of monitor or handle the technology and stuff like that with your kids?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main reason we moved to Idaho. We're right in the middle of the state in Idaho and in the middle of nowhere, and kids don't have cell phones out here. Kids don't have iPads. My kids come home from school and we do what we call training, where we do some working out kind of stuff without lifting weights. But working on balance and proprioception and body weight kind of lifting things. But my kids come home and we're outside. You know, right now we had a recent snowstorm, so they'll be outside sledding and snowball fighting and all that kind of stuff, and not inside playing video games. We don't play video games. We don't use iPads unless we're on a long road trip or an airplane flight somewhere. So it's been really easy for me and my wife to help minimize that, because my kids really grew up when I was playing in big cities like Phoenix and Oakland, and they grew up around that. And now that we don't have that, I've just seen them flourish and blossom and be creative and find things to do on their own, and as opposed to sitting in front of a TV playing video games. And that's one of the great things, you're right, about hunting is you're in the tree stand, you know, you're in the woods. You can't move around a lot or else the animals will see you and they won't come around. So there are no cell phones. We don't have, you know, we're not watching TV and watching DVDs or movies or Netflix, any of that. That's been one of the best things about since I've retired from playing football, moving to really the middle of nowhere in the mountains. We've completely eliminated really technology other than what they're using at school and learning at school. When they get home, we're outside playing and training and doing all the things that are, you know, we're doing everything but technology.
Yeah, that's awesome. And talking about your career there, you were recently put into the Cardinals Ring of Honor. What was it like for you to experience that with your family being present?
It was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity. You know, my kids don't know much about football. My oldest son's into it a little bit, and he'll watch it on, you know, we'll watch Monday Night Football tonight, and you know, he'll be intrigued by it for a quarter or two, and then he'll figure out something else to do. And they were there when I was playing, but they were really young, especially my two oldest. They're 10 now. They remember some of the games, but they loved going to the games and seeing the mascots and the cheerleaders and things like that. So when a couple weekends ago, when I was put into the Ring of Honor in Arizona, they were down there on the field with me. You know, they got to be a part of it, and they got to experience something that, you know, they'll never forget. And I hope they always remember that moment of being down there on the field and the speech I gave and you know, all the nice things that were said about me by our owner, Michael Bidwell, and just it was really a cool family opportunity to share. And they may not remember the games. They may not remember, you know, wins and losses or touchdown passes and all that, but I think that opportunity was something that they'll hold in their hearts and hopefully remember their entire lives.
Yeah, very cool. And what was it like for you to be able to spend some time on the same team? I had your brother Jordan on the podcast quite a while back there. What was it like for you to be on the same team with your brother Jordan?
It was great. You know, it was only a couple of years. And we were always 4.5 years apart growing up, so we were never in high school at the same time, never in college at the same time, but to play on the same NFL team together for a couple of years, just rare. You know, I don't, off the top of my head, I can't think of too many guys other than the McCourty brothers in New England that have had that opportunity to be teammates. But it was a really, really cool opportunity for both of us. I mean, just to get to work together on a daily basis and train together and study film together. And it was something that was really special and very unique, because there are a handful of guys like the Manning brothers, and there's a handful of guys that play against each other and are in the NFL that overlap a couple years together, but to get to play in the same team is something that was really unique and special.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome too. And how about as far as being a disciplinarian, Carson? What type of disciplinarian are you as a father? Are you a spanker, timeout guy? How do you handle discipline in your house?
A little bit of both. You know, we've kind of grown out of with my oldest the spanking, the timeout deals really don't work now. It's more about taking. With my oldest son, I'll take away his bow. He doesn't get to shoot his bow. Or I've had to tell him he doesn't get to go on an upcoming hunting trip with me. So, you know, each kid, what I've noticed is they all react differently to different punishments. My daughter loves her RC car, and if I take her RC car away, it's like the worst thing in the world that could ever happen to her. So, you know, I think you just kind of have to custom and fine tune them to each individual child, because they're all so different. My little 3-year-old, you know, he's almost 4 now. I just have to threaten him with the wooden spoon, the little cooking spoon that I might spank you with this if you don't do this or do that, or you do that again. You don't even have to use it on him. You just have to threaten the object of the spoon, and the potential that this might whoop me on the butt and hurt my little bottom. Those kind of things. You just got to find what works and how to discipline my kids. I have to do it differently. I wouldn't threaten my two girls with the wooden spoon, because that would just be the end of their day. It would just ruin, the thought of dad might spank me with the spoon. So I've got to take different things away and really just kind of fine tune discipline to each kid. It's like I said, each kid is so different, and as badly as they want to be like the older ones and be like their brother or sister, they're all so different. So you got to find what makes each kid tick and what scares each kid from doing something wrong or doing something that gets them in trouble. And that's what I found to work with my kids.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you, Carson. My 4 kids couldn't respond more differently to discipline. If I have one kid, you could spank them all day long. It ain't going to make a difference on them, So it's like trying to find that new way to discipline them is part of the challenge that I enjoy as being a dad. And how about, I know you had, some pretty bad injuries during your football career. How have you been holding up? Are any of the injuries make it difficult for you to keep up as a father with the kids?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I've had multiple knee replacements, or not replacements, but knee reconstructive surgeries, elbow, thumbs. I've got plates and forearms from breaks. I've had, there's been a lot that slowed me down. One of my kids wants to be a pitcher, and actually 2 of my kids want to be a pitcher. So getting down in a catcher stance is not easy. My kids love skiing, like I said earlier, so skiing's not easy. I've had a lot of issues just wanting to go out and chase them around, and just aches and pains. And something that I've been using that's helped me tremendously is CBD. Just a rub-on lotion. I've got an applicator that's like a roll-on for my knee that really soothes my knee. It's called Level Select. You can buy it online at selectmylevel.com. It's just a CBD cream or ointment that really helps me, especially when I get up in the morning after. I feel a lot of my injuries the next morning from the previous day, whether it's getting down in a catcher stance over and over again and catching 50 pitches from my kids, or skiing with them, or just chasing them. They love playing tag and things like that. And I feel a lot of my issues the next day when I wake up. So it's just, I found that the CBD ointment and lotion that you just rub on really soothes and helps calm down any aches and pains that I have that can get me going for that next day. But there's no doubt. I mean, there's some collateral damage after playing for 15 years and playing on AstroTurf and practicing on AstroTurf and all those things. It's definitely slowed me down and something that I've really got to work on and take good care of myself now, so that when my almost 4-year-old's 10 and 12 and wants to pitch, that I can still go out and catch, get down in the catcher stance and catch his pitches.
Yeah, very well said. Well, you've had an amazing career. What kind of plans or goals do you have here for yourself for the future, Carson?
Yeah, I'm everybody asks how retirement is, and I retired from football, but I haven't retired from working. I've got a handful of things I'm doing. I've always been really interested in the developmental side of commercial and residential real estate. So the last couple of years, I've been taking a lot of classes and reading books, and started a couple really small projects to kind of get my feet wet and see if it's something that I like and something that challenges me, or see if it's something that I don't want to do. But I've really loved doing that, and I'd love to really broaden those horizons and get into some bigger projects and some bigger deals. But right now, really just trying to be smart and not overcommit myself to too much, where it takes away time from I don't want to miss practices and kids' games anymore like I did for so many years when I was playing. So really just trying to find enough things that keep me busy, but still leave enough holes in my schedule where I'm not missing out on kids' activities and after school stuff. But also at the same time being challenged and finding things that I enjoy doing and that challenge me and make me want to get better at and improve at and learn more. And really that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, very cool. All right, last thing I want to hit you with here, Carson. I love to ask all the dads that I get on the podcast, what type of advice do you have for that new father or for that about-to-be dad who's out there listening?
Well, I just think those first couple of years of being a dad are so challenging. They were for me. You know, if you're a guy that needs 8 hours of sleep like I am, those first couple of years can be so difficult and so stressful. From a financial standpoint, from just the issues that come up with you and your wife trying to nurture this kid and raise this new child and be a good parent and be a positive influence on this kid. All the things that come up, it just gets so much better. And those first couple of years they're amazing. There's no doubt, as we all know, but there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things that are difficult. There's a lot of times you're just tired and done and you just want to get the kids to bed and go to bed. But it just gets better and better each year, each month. From feeding baby bottles to the first time your child can pick up a spoon and feed himself, and then put on his underwear and get dressed for the day and walking and running. And it just gets so much better. My life, my opportunity to be a dad is only getting better. With my 10-year-olds are going to be 12 and then 14 and 16, and just all the hurdles and milestones that you cross, and all the struggles you have early with having a baby and diapers and just all the stuff that comes up, they all make it so much better, and they all enrich the opportunity of being a fatherhood so greatly as your kids get older and older. And then you start realizing, wow, they think you're really cool and they want to be like you and they want to do what you do. And then they want to hear your old football stories and stories from growing up, and all the things that come up. The excitement of being a parent is unlike anything else, and it's so challenging early on, and it's so hard, but it's so well worth it, and so enriching as you get older and your kids get older. And you got to power through those first, especially if you have twins off the jump. I mean, that's testing and trying, but it just gets so much better, and it's so worth it, and it's so exciting to see them start to play sports and all the things that come up, and doing well in school and going to your parent-teacher conferences and hearing positive things from your kids and the things that they need to work on, and then the challenge of working on those things that the teachers may recommend, and just all the little things that come with it. It's so great, and you just got to power through those first couple of years and try to remember them as long as you can. They're hard to remember because they fly by, and you're sleep deprived and you're tired and all those things that come up, but it just gets better and better each year.
Yeah, very well said. I love the message. This has been an honor for me. I got to say, Carson Palmer, you're a first-class father, and thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time on First Class Fatherhood.
Thanks for having me on, Alec. I appreciate it, man. Have a great day.